Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So it's that time of the month again. It's Game of the Month on Evercade VS and Evercade EXP. There is also a huge firmware update available. It does look like the one that was implemented at Christmas, and we know how that went down. So hopefully they have been spending the last 10 months or so working on getting this fix correct. So fingers crossed it is okay. I'm pretty sure it will be fine. And also there has been a secret game added to the Evercade VS and Evercade EXP. So we will go over that. We will play that in this video as well. And also the game of the month. So without further ado, let's get stuck into the video. Okay guys, let's start with the actual game of the month for September 2024. And I'm pretty sure there's still a few more games to come, but it's probably not been the best so far. I think a lot of the games have been a little bit lackluster, and it probably hasn't really caught on yet. Evercade Indie Heroes Collection 4 isn't looking great so far, but I'm pretty sure there are a couple of really cracking games to come, so stick with it. I'm sure that will change. Now, this game I have played before. I have played it as part of a predictions video, probably at the start of this year, or it was might have been last year, but definitely played it as a prediction that what could come to Evercade. This is Soko Banana, and it is a puzzle style game, and obviously you can play this as long as you like, or until you update the firmware again, probably next month for next month game. Now this is an 8-bit puzzler. I'm pretty sure it's a NES title, and this, I think you can obviously download it as well and purchase it on itch.io as well, and there is a demo there if you want a different way of playing it. But this will be on Indie Heroes Collection 4 that will release in 2025, probably around February time. And this is, here's the details of the game. So basically you're pushing the blocks around the sort of stage there and trying to get them to the bottom. The difference with this one, you push the block, it will not stop until it hits a solid object. So if anyone remembers Big Too Small that was on Indie Heroes Collection 3, which I absolutely adored, I thought it was fantastic. It's a little bit like that crossed with the Soko Banana style of game. And I'm pretty... I definitely like this style of game, but I know this will not be up everyone's street. But it is a head scratcher. It certainly will make you think, and looking at that level already certainly gives me chills. That look like that will definitely stretch you there. If you look at, there's also some solid chests there that you probably need to hit to collect the 3 bananas. So there's 3 bananas to collect on each stage as well. Obviously, you don't have to. The end goal is realistically just to get the sort of crate onto the bottom left hand screen there. You've got one just on this level, but yeah, it's certainly interesting. Unfortunately, there's not a rewind function, although you can press the select button again to quit and try again. So you have as many lives as you want. You just keep trying until you pass that level. There's a lot of more information there about the game. It was originally funded on Kickstarter in 2019, which is quite interesting. But yeah, it is quite a nice game. As I said, I have played it before, and it is pretty nice. So it's from Swedish duo known as Flip for Fate. Doesn't really ring a bell, so I'm not really sure what else they've done. Some information there about some of the other games. But yeah, pretty cool. We'll have a play at that soon. But what I'm going to do now is probably have a look at the firmware update that was applied. There are a lot of changes included within this update. So let's have a look at those details now. Okay, so let's have a look at the firmware update. So there's a special features update for September 2024. Now this, for the best part, a lot of the stuff that's in here was implemented back in December, which created a bit of a nightmare. I don't think it was properly tested before it was put out to the public, and it seemed to cause a lot of problems. So it is still in beta mode by the sounds of it. It's still in some sort of development, but it is here. Hopefully it will cause a lot less issues this time. And there's some interesting stuff here. We've got analog controller mode support. This is still in beta mode. So I guess with all the sort of new games out like Tomb Raider and Soul Reaver, they're implementing this analog support for third-party controllers. If you want to have that, give a go. But personally, I'm quite happy playing with the D-pad. I suppose for some games it might be better using some analog sticks, for like Glover, for example. And I guess if you want to play Tomb Raider with an analog stick, then the option is there to give that a try. But yeah, for the best part, I'm just quite happily playing with the sort of Evercade controllers that are provided. And these are the supported games that you'll be able to use the analog controls with. So you got Worms Armageddon, Speedball, 40 Winks, Duke Nukem. So these look like the PlayStation titles and the N64 games that the function support is there for. So if you get any issues with any of the updates here, there is a contact, support@evercade.co.uk if you've got any issues. So message that directly for any problems that you come across. There is a new eject cartridge function added as well. This is for the VS and the EXP, which basically you press the eject button. I think it's select on the EXP, or if you've got two carts here, you've got L1 and R1 for slot 1 and slot 2 to eject the cartridge. So I guess there was a lot of concern about quick swapping cartridges, and it might have been causing some issues. Now, there is no issue with the actual quick swapping. It just depends when exactly you do the quick swapping. If you're maybe taking a cart out when you're in the middle of a game, or maybe it's still saving, you might cause a problem with the cartridge. Ejecting the cart and removing it when you're at the menu, or there's at the back of the Evercade menu, there is no issue with that. But if you're completely unsure, then there is this feature here, which we'll maybe trial against in the video. It basically stops reading the cart, and then you can remove it completely safely without causing any sort of corruption. Interestingly, they've added that feature. There obviously was some sort of concern with this feature, or with the actual quick swapping of cartridges. I'm pretty sure that may have bricked a few cartridges of mine, because I probably just removed it when I felt like it. Maybe that was my fault, maybe not. But anyway, it is what it is, and that seems to have been one issue that hopefully will stop games from being corrupted in the future. So arcade game updates. These are basically the updates that were kicked in back in December. So we've got the Turbo Fire. Interestingly, it still says it's in beta form, so not really sure what that's all about. So we've got Turbo Fire. You don't have to repeatedly press down the fire button in some of these games. You can just hold the fire button down, and here are the games that will be applicable to. So a list there. If you're interested in that function. That's quite welcome, because it can give you a little bit of thumb fatigue, or finger fatigue it would be, whilst playing some of these games. At present, Turbo Fire is not supported or mappable on Evercade's EXP TATE mode, so a little bit of a pain there. That's obviously not ideal, especially considering some of these games are better in TATE mode on the EXP, or even playing on your VS if that's how you like to do it. High Scores Beta, so there's some information again. This has now been implemented, and hopefully it won't cause any issues. That's quite cool. It basically saves your high score on some of the arcade games automatically. I think you can wipe it. There's options there if you want to wipe it, but that's basically for all the arcade collections and the built-in Capcom titles as well on the Evercade EXP. And there's other fixes, there's also some tweaks, fixes, various features. We'll have a look at the patch notes. Interestingly, there is a secret game being added, but don't get too excited. It's nothing completely special, but we'll have a look at it nonetheless. So having a look at the EXP patch notes, basically it's removing last month's game, adding a new one. You've got a new game of the month by Flip for Fate. They've obviously made the changes to the game library, added Legacy of Kain. There's a new secret game being added. There's arcade game improvements including Turbo Fire, blah blah blah, that we've already went through. Some turbo button remap for some 8-bit games as well. Let's quickly have a look at the VS patch updates as well. So here are the VS patches update. Slightly similar, I guess. There's a few different options there for the analog mode for third party. There's some arcade improvements, blah blah blah. Remap controller image for Evercade VS. So pretty much the same stuff. But yeah, let's have a quick look, and we'll maybe reveal what that secret game is first before we go into the game of the month. So if you don't want to know what the secret game is, feel free to skip past this section now. I'll try and add chapters so that you can obviously try and skip that if you want. But it's basically the code is hidden within other fixes here. There's a little section here that says, we even managed to juggle our schedule enough to sneak in a hidden little secret for those who are on the ball, but we'll leave you that for you to discover for yourself. So the secret code is hidden here. It's Juggle, and that will reveal a fan-made game, which is basically a little bit of a juggle game. But let's have a look at that first, and then we'll jump on to Soko Banana. Okay, so basically to access the secret game, you need to go to the secret section in the settings, go down to secret, then you need to enter the code Juggle. So basically just type that in and then press the start enter button, and that will, on your controller, and that will obviously then activate the new secret game that's been added. I'd definitely like to see a lot more secret games added. There's been very few this year. So that gives you this juggling balls from the fan, from the community member Shane Powell, aka Kenjara. If you follow Discord, you'll probably recognise his name from there. And I'm pretty sure he's a tester as well for Evercade. But anyway, this is the game that's been created. I'm pretty sure it might be like a Game Boy Color style game, but it's based on like their old style classic LCD handheld game. So basically you're arcadey and you're trying to juggle some balls and keep them up, and it's pretty simple. If you've played any of those old LCD handheld sort of things, which were quite popular all the way through the 80s and maybe even into the 90s as well, basically you just moved certain sections. You're basically just moving Katie's arms to juggle the balls up and keep them up, and just keep going till you either drop a ball or you get finger or fatigue and you get a bit fed up and you just want to stop. But that is it. It's very simple, very basic. It's probably one of those things that you'll maybe play once and never play again. I'm pretty sure it might become one of those games that you could play as a high score challenge. See who's got the guts to keep on going, see how high you can actually go. Okay, so briefly we're going to have a quick look at the eject cart function that's been added. So basically you press the select button and it will eject your cart, not physically, you have to do that yourself. It basically stops reading the cart on your EXP or VS, and then you can safely remove it, then obviously stopping the carts from becoming corrupt or something untoward happening. Also, we've got the new sort of games added to the library as we previously mentioned. But anyway, let's move on to the game of the month. This is Soko Banana, released in 2023, a really cool puzzle game that I really enjoy. It's definitely right up my street. I know it's not going to be for everyone, but I think this has perhaps been the best game so far, or certainly one of the better games that's been released onto the Game of the Month for Indie Heroes 4 so far. But I think we definitely need some bangers before this cart becomes worth a purchase, because I think so far it's definitely not set the world on fire. So definitely I think Soko Banana is one of the better games for Indie Heroes 4 so far. Definitely remind me a little bit like Big Too Small, maybe even a little bit like Roneo's Tale, just maybe with the music. And the fact that you probably need to stop and look at the level before you move anything, just to try and fathom out what you're supposed to do in the right move. Now there's no time limit, so you can take all the time in the world if you like. Unfortunately, there's no rewind function, so if you do make a mistake, you have to press the select button to start all over again. And there's no doubt some of these levels are very, very tricky. But if you love your puzzle games, you're going to absolutely love this game. Graphically, that's pretty basic, pretty simple, some nice tunes throughout it, but I don't think this type of game does need any fancy graphics to be successful. I think it's all about the puzzle element and trying to enjoy that. Just like Big Too Small, very addictive stuff. I definitely enjoy this game. Okay guys, that's our look at the game of the month for September. Definitely a return to form of sorts, and probably one of the better games so far on In Heroes Collection 4. We definitely need some better stuff though to make this cart worth buying, because so far the games have been a little bit disappointing. Let me know what you think of it. What do you think? Do you think this is a little bit better than what we've seen so far? I will have a look at the firmware stuff in a later video, probably in a little bit more details. But thanks again for watching. We'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.